That's the second button. Okay, I have pushed the appropriate buttons. Yay. Oop, get that button too. Hello, hey, what's up? How you doing? It's Friday. We're streaming. It's just a standard Q&A stream, so, you know, just ask me questions. Ask me, you know, how tall I am, like what I like to do in my free time, how many fingers I have, you know, all questions and stuff. You know, you can ask me Dungeon Master questions too. Apparently I know stuff about that, and I make stuff up too. I'm very good at lying, so if I don't know the answer to a question, I'll just lie to you. Is that acceptable? I mean, as a Dungeon Master, I lie all the time to my players. I feel like that's part of the job description. You should expect me to lie. Solar Flare Hair, hello, thank you for the tier 1. Appreciate that. Emma loves fries. I love fries too. Thank you for the 100-bit chair. D&D Scotty, what's up? Thank you for the tier 1. 15 months of loyalty right there. Oh yeah, 15 months. And I don't even pay D&D Scotty. Now I'm just poking fun at people. Sorry, I'm mean. A big jerk. Nick from Peak D&D is the tallest Dungeon Master. Dude, Ed, I had to comment to him twice about how tall he is. Like when I first met him, I was like, dude, you're tall. And he's like, I get that. And then like an hour later, I was like, no, dude, you don't understand. You're really tall. He's like, oh, the dungeon coach is tall too. I met Alan for the first time in person. I said the same thing. I was like, dude, you're tall. It's funny when I lived down in Central America for 4 years, and I'm not a tall guy. I'm like 5'9". Sometimes they measure me at the doctor's office and they say 5'8". So I'm not a tall guy, but when I was in Central America, I was taller than most people, you know, and you get used to that. And then I moved back to the States and I'm like, yeah, I'm sure most people are taller. Most guys are taller than me, you know? Yeah, anyway, has nothing to do with Nick from Peak D&D, but yeah, thank you. Your in-person DM is 6'8". Wow. DT Sniper, thank you for the cheer, dude. Appreciate it. Mommy cat wants attention. Mommy cat's right here and wants attention. Okay, let's close that. We don't need to see that anymore. What else am I doing? What the heck else am I doing? Oh yeah, we're doing a stream. Okay, so I have to do this stuff. Yeah, see, I got distracted. Cats are distracting me and stuff. Okay, so first thing we always do at a stream. We're gonna do a shameless plug first. We're gonna start off with a shameless plug. I recently changed my Patreon just a tiny bit. I'm now doing a thing where for my Patreon, for once a month, I'm gonna run a D&D one-shot game. And I'm choosing the players from my patrons. So that's the simple thing. So it's very interesting because I have like over 700 patrons and only about 70 people signed up for that, which means that the chances of playing with me are like really good. If like majority of people are just like, it's okay, but the people who want to sign up, like the chances are pretty dang good. I was looking at that, I'm like, that's not bad chances. I don't know what that is. If 5 people out of 70 play, that's not too bad. So anyway, that's not my point. My point is that it's something new I started to do. I play a D&D game once a month and I choose patrons to play in that game. It's very simple. So anyway, made that change. Obviously, we still give out Layer Magazine to my patrons every month. It's like 50 plus pages of content, actual real content you can use in your games. Not fluff, not articles that don't actually give you stuff to use in your games. It's not just somebody pontificating about the nature of dragons or beholders or something. Not that we can publish anything about beholders because it's trademarked and copyrighted and crap. But it's actual, you get D&D adventures. You get 5th edition D&D adventures with maps designed for use on virtual tabletop. You get new monsters, magic items, traps, puzzles, like good puzzles, and the traps are usually pretty dang good too. You get actual material that you can plug and drop into your D&D games and help you to reduce your prep time, maybe even make your games better. I don't know, maybe you're awesome, maybe you don't need that stuff, but some people could use the help. You know, so lots of cool content. So if you want to become a patron, I'm sure there's somebody's been throwing links around here. You can go check that crap out. So anyway, lots of cool stuff for DM Lair patrons. So that's your sleazy plug. And the next thing I'm going to do is drink some coffee. Ed says Lair magazine is unbiasedly the best 5e magazine available. So Ed, this is interesting. Ed has become a patron to other people, and he has bought other people's monthly magazines to see what they're doing and to review them, to see, you know, what caliber of material they're publishing and to see how we compare and if there's anything that we can improve in. And thus far, he has always come back and been like, Luke, ours is way better. Like they have an artist on staff, so their art is like really good, but their content can't compare to ours. Like the actual usable content can't compare. So like so far, every comparison he's done, and this is obviously biased because Ed is my lead developer, but yeah. So anyway, it's not crap. It's not crap. All right, so if you just become a patron, the Discord Flare, you have to do two things. First of all, in Patreon, you have to enter your Discord information. 2, you need to join my Discord. Everything, the Flare will be automatically added to you. That's how it works. We're only biased because it's the best and we're proud of it. Yeah. Lair magazine, it's not crap. That's the new tagline. Get Lair magazine, it's not crap. All right, what was I doing? Okay, they did that. Oh yes, okay, the other thing I want to mention, ladies and gentlemen, my cat is chewing on my knee. Squeaky wants attention. All my cats are hanging out. They know it's snack time. It's been a while since you streamed, Luke, and we know it's snack time. We know it's snack time. All right, I am trying to raise $500 for the Boys and Girls Club of Lansing. This is a local charity organization here in Lansing where I live, and basically they have an after-school program where kids can go after school, get help with homework, be in a positive environment. They have, here are some like academic success programs they have. They have this STEM program. I was looking at their STEM program. They have an actual lab, a STEM lab in there. Really cool equipment and stuff in there. I did some volunteer work for them. I've done some videos for them and some stuff like that. I did 2 videos for them. I think I did 2 videos for them. Anyway, so really cool organization, helps kids have a place to go after school. So they're not, and these are like, you know, I don't know how you want to call it, you know, the neighborhoods that they're operating this in. These are kids that might just be getting into trouble if they don't have a place to go. Or at the very least, they're not going to be they don't have someone to help with their homework maybe, you know, so it's helping out kids who really need help. So we're trying to raise $500 for them. You can see the tip goal is like written over here. We're at 130 out of 500. Once we get to 500, I am going to be sending them $500 from the DM Lair community to help them with what they do. We recently raised $585 for the Capital Area Humane Society. And that was very cool. So now we're trying to help these folks out. So if you feel so inclined, but no pressure, of course, you are welcome to tip. Please tip at the link that they threw in the chat here, because if you tip at the link where it says in the chat, then most of your money is going toward the Boys and Girls Club. I don't take a cut or anything. There's like a processing fee, which is very, very minimal. This is why I don't do it through cheers and subs, because Twitch takes 50% of your money. So if you want to donate to the Boys and Girls Club, I want almost all of your money to go to them, not to Twitch. Twitch does not need your money. Trust me. Ed Robinson, thank you, sir, for the $10 donation to the Boys and Girls Club. I appreciate that, buddy. All right, now let's actually do, oh shoot, I'm sorry. I still have to do one more thing before we can actually start answering questions. It's okay, it gets me a stockpile of questions that I can go at. We need to do the patron shout outs. These are the amazing, awesome people that help pay the bills, keeps the lid on. All the things I do cost money. The live streams, the videos I do, the things that are free, they still cost me time and money. I pay people to help produce these things. And obviously Lair Magazine, I pay lots of content creators, freelancers to help create a lot of this content and make it as awesome as it can possibly be. So all my patrons, I'm deeply appreciative of them because they help us do all the things that we do for the D&D and RPG community. So these people are very, very, very cool. These folks here give it a higher level, so they have bribed me to shout out their names every stream. So here we go. 5e Magic Shop, Aaron A, Aerospatial, Alex H, Alex T, Amanda W, Ambers, Anthony L, Arutha, Bailbon, my cat's biting me, Brad A, Brandon, Brand C, Brand S, Candy Sora, Chase O, Chris C, Chris E, Chris H, Chris R, Chris Y, Cody, Cody B, Contrary Gravy, Crispy Cucumber, that's delicious. I don't even know what that means. That sounds like a fried pickle, which are delicious. Dalius G, David M, Dragon Demon, Drexus, Dresna, Dylan S, Ed R, Edward L, Endorian 72, Ericos, Fallon, Frank C, Gary, Goliath Cleric, Guru Mundur H, sorry, I probably messed that up, Heretic, Hydra Slayer, Izzy T, Jacob S, Jake L, James L, Jessica J, sorry, Joshin B, Joel L, John N, Jonathan S, Jorel, that sounds like Superman's name. Hey, Superman's a patron, woo! Jose B, Joseph H, Josh G, Josh S, Joshua G, Josue S, Justin N, Kale S, K, I think I say that every single time. KK, Ken S, Kevin F, Kevin P, Kezides, Kirby, Kyle M, Kiriako, Labraworks, Leopold X92, Lodwick B, Lord Kemiak, Lori S, Lost to Real Life, Michael C, Michael H, Mr. Linkonu, Mr. T, Mumbles Not a Bard, Owen D, Patrick A, Paul B, Paul H, Paul R, Paul Y, Penguin Butt, Pierre P, published author Rachel S, Radiance Guardians, Ramus, Ramsey M, Raslick, Rays W, Rebecca K, Renier C, Rob M, Ron H, Ryan G, Sakura, Shane L, Simon Smashko, Snapbragger, Son of a Sofa Man, Sophie M, Stetson H, Stephen F, A, WQP, Tactical Tokens, The Old DM, Talking Napkin, The Pickle, The Casual Nerd, Data Tag, Tiger 500, see, that's how I know you, Tim M, Todd M, Tom, Tony M, Trevor G, Tristan W, Tyler R, Xavier H, Zack. All right, boom. Time to get my fix. Time to get my Luke fix. Sajaya, hello, welcome. I'm gonna give you your fix. Yes, there are words here. All right, let's go to this. All right, woo! Thank you, patrons. I love you. I really appreciate everything. All right, we are going to go to my question sheet now, and we're gonna start answering questions because that's why you're here, and you sat through a half an hour of Luke's bullcrap. So now I have to answer questions before people start hunting me down and stealing my cats or something. It's like, oh, we're taking your cats. You refused to answer our questions, and now we're taking your cats. Don't take my cats. Take Squeaky. No, I love Squeaky. No, you're not taking any of my cats. I owe Ed a cat. He's the only one who is entitled to a cat. Nobody else gets a cat at all. Oh, holy poop balls. Thank you, moderators. DT the Sniper, thank you so much. $270 for the Boys and Girls Club of Lansing. That is so amazing. Thank you so much, dude. I really appreciate that. Boys and Girls Club kids are going to appreciate that. The great thing about the Boys and Girls Club, by the way, is they charge like $5. It's like $5 or $10 for an entire year membership. So a kid can have a place to go after school, people to help with homework. They give them a meal too. They literally each night they get dinner too. So they go from school, Boys or Girls Club, they get help with their homework, they can learn stuff, they have programs, they have computers they can use, they have academic crap on there, and they get a meal as well. And for all of that, they charge the kids like, I think it's $10 a year for the entire year. It's some little tiny like gesture thing. It's like, oh, I gotta pay $10. And the kids get all of that for $10, which means of course that they depend on charitable donations and stuff to help them do the things they do. So yeah, it's a very worthy cause. Absolutely. Thank you so much, dude. I appreciate that. Eric from Phoenix, thank you for the tier 1, 13 months of loyalty right there. Ooh, baby. I'm such a moron. Yes, it's amazing. They do amazing crap, dude. I've been there several times. I did some video work for them. I did 2 different filmings for them. I filmed a virtual tour of their facilities. They wanted a place, they wanted to be able to show potential donors and other people and stuff a tour of their facilities without people actually having to go there. And so I did a video like showing off what they do, showing off like, you know, their facilities, what they have, and explaining the program and what they do. So I did that a couple years ago. And then that was like 3 years ago. Then a couple years ago, they have a special banquet dinner with speeches and stuff, and I went there and filmed that for them too. So I've done some volunteer work for them as well. All right, thank you. Got that done? What do you call popular monsters that are trademarked, like the aforementioned beholders? This sounds like a riddle. Did somebody just Emma loves fried. Emma loves fried. Did you just drop a riddle on me? What do you call it? Is this like a knock knock joke? I call them off limits. They're the monsters that like if I use them, I get yelled at by Ed, and Goliath Cleric a lot of times yells at me too, because I use monsters that I'm not allowed to use. They're like, Luke, you can't do that. We'll be in like live stream creation. We're making a D&D together. We do that sometimes. And I'll be like, hey, can we use this monster? And they're like, no, Luke, take it down. I'm like, oh crap. And then they yell at some of our, they don't yell. I say yell. They're not actually yelling. All my team members are all amazing people. They don't yell at anybody. But our freelancers will be like, you know, trying to make some stuff. And sometimes we're like, you know, that's not actually in the SRD. We can't actually use that. We're going to have to ask you to change that. They're probably very nice about it. I'm just kind of like a jerk. I'm just like, you can't do it, can't do it. So I don't know. I don't know what to call them. If that's a puzzle or a joke or a knock knock joke, tell me the answer, because I'm not a smart cookie. Peak D&D is in the house. Hello, Peak D&D. Thank you for the $25 tip. Look at that. Woo! We are so close to being able to donate $500 to the Boys and Girls Club of Lansing. That is so very cool. Thank you so much, Peak D&D, getting us closer. We're like, how far are we? But I just started the stream and we're like, how close are we? All right, somebody do math for me. 500 minus 435. If I have to do math, then I'm gonna like, brain is gonna stop. 65. Thank you people. I'm like, we come to Luke's live stream to ask him about running the game, and we have to do math for him. He's a slave driver. This cat wants attention. All right. Would you ever consider getting a Maine Coon cat? They're cool, I think. They're massive too. No, I am not considering getting any more cats in my lifetime. Unless a stray comes up and is hungry. that's the only way you realize that's why we have cats. We 100% have cats because a stray will approach our house. When you know a stray when you see a stray. You know a cat that needs help when you see a cat that needs help. They approach you, they're tentative, they look hungry, and they're all like meow, you know, you can just tell when they need help. So that's how we get all of our cats. And we always get strays that are pregnant too. And so we don't end up with one. No, that'd be too simple. It'd be far too simple. We get one cat that's pregnant, and you get 5 for the price of one. Actually, they're free. They just walk up. Well, you gotta pay them. Dude, our animal food budget right now is like, dude, it's like a couple hundred. We're pushing a couple $100s a month to pay for the litter, to pay for the food. And now we have a squirrel too. My wife found a squirrel outside, little tiny baby, no fur, like freezing to death, probably half dead. And we have a squirrel now. So now we're getting squirrel stuff. So we just, you know, we see helpless animals that need help and we're just like, okay, I guess we're taking care of you now. That's why I have all of these cats down here. Just circling. They know it's snack time. George is doing great. George is just a little maniac. He's almost 10 weeks old, and he is just jumping off the walls. I have it on my to-do list. I have to get him a bigger house. He was in a smaller house, and then we upgraded it to a bigger one, and now we upgraded it to an even bigger one, and now I need to get him like this huge big. I need to get him a house that stands like as tall as a person, basically, so he has room to like run around and do stuff. Like I try to go out there every day and let him out. Like we have a 3 seasons room, which does not have any cats in it. That's the biggest thing. And there's nowhere for him to like hide. And cause like, if you let him loose in the house, dude, you're never going to find him. He's gone. And then you have like 7 assassins, murderers roaming around my cats. so it's not safe. But in the 3 Seasons room, we can open things up, we can let him run around. He usually just climbs on me. He literally, like, I was out there yesterday for like an hour or so with him, and almost the whole time he's just climbing around on me. He was going up all over the place. He was going on my head, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna need some head protection. I put a ball cap on, and you better believe he pooped on my head, dude. He's just a little peer and pooper. So you gotta like wear protective clothing. But yeah, he like runs around and stuff like that. So, oh, look at that, sweet. DT the Sniper, thank you so much for the $65. Got us exactly to our 500 for the Boys and Girls Club of Lansing. Thank you so much, dude. You're awesome. That puts you at like over $300 in tips, dude. Thank you so much. You're sweet. You're just that's awesome. You rock, dude. Ramus comes in at $25. Thank you so much, dude. I appreciate that. We've now hit our goal. We've now hit our goal. We have $525 that we have raised for the Boys and Girls Club of Lansing. That's cool. Thank you so much, people. We'll donate some money to them, and then I'll get I get these thank you cards from the Capital Area Humane Society. They're like, thank you, and I'm like, you're welcome. Go save some kitties, and now we're gonna help a bunch of kids out. That's beautiful. Thanks, guys. All right, thank you, moderators, too, for the notes in the spreadsheet. Otherwise, I'd be oblivious. Look, I have 5 cats hanging out with me. They want their snack. Check this out. Go to the cat cam. There they are. We're hanging out. I'm gonna lick my butt while we wait. Orange, quit licking yourself. Oh yeah. Jeez. Can't put him on camera. You never know when he's gonna go for he's like I'm going in. Dude, what's your least favorite type of DM question to answer? You want to know my least favorite type of DM question? Hands down, it's this. I'm a new dungeon master. What advice can you give me? Like, I literally have an entire YouTube channel full of videos with advice. Not all of it's for new dungeon masters, but veterans are probably going to find less of value there, I think, than newer dungeon masters. I've been making videos for 3 or 4 years or something, like a video a week, sometimes 2 a week. Actually, yeah, for quite a bit. So you have like, I don't know, hundreds of videos with advice for dungeon masters. So when I get the question of, I'm a new DM, what advice do you have? I'm just like, I have lots of advice. Go look at my YouTube channel. I don't know. So usually I just end up saying something dumb like, just try to have fun and don't worry about learning the rules. I mean, learn the rules, but don't worry about it. Just go have fun. So usually, and that's true. It's good advice, but I don't know what else to say because there's so much I could say, and I have said, you know. So that's, and I get questions like that. They don't make me upset. I'm not like, you know, gonna go murder a squirrel or an ant or a spider or something. I would not, you know, but I always just don't know how to answer. I'm just like, anything you would like to rant about? Oh, something you gotta get me. I don't know, dude. You gotta get me going, dude. Gotta figure it out. Ask my moderators. They probably know the things that annoy me. Time for the opposite. What is your favorite type of DM question that you get? Something that's different, something that hasn't been asked to me before, something that makes me think a little bit, but also I need to have an answer to it. Because if I get some question from out of there and I have no answer to it, then I'm just gonna be like, actually, you know what? This is a very good point. I get lots of questions and I can't possibly answer them all, but there are some questions that I look at on there and I'm just like, I have no idea how to answer you. And so we just move on. So I have to have an answer to it. How do the cats feel about the squirrel? Oh, they love looking at the squirrel. Dude, when I'm out there in the 3 Seasons room with the squirrel and he's like climbing all over me, going crazy, I usually have 3 or 4 cats. We have a sliding glass door that goes out into our 3 Seasons room. It's like a patio door. It goes out into the 3 Seasons room. And I'll usually have 3 or 4 cats sitting there. just watching that squirrel, just watching it. Now, 3 of the cats are usually very like, you know, what are you? What are you? One of the cats though, mommy cat, you can see in her eyes, I want to eat you. Only I could get through here, you'd be dead, squirrel. You can just tell in her eyes that she just wants to eat that squirrel. She's like murder in her eyes. I can't explain to you how I can tell the difference, but we have cats that are goofballs and are probably not gonna harm the squirrel, but we have one cat for sure that would murderize that squirrel. Mommy cat, mommy too, Noki. Dude, can't let her near that squirrel. She's already, yeah, so. You met George at LayerCon? You did? I don't remember bringing George to LayerCon. Sidetrack, hello, what's up, dude? What was your favorite part of LayerCon? Oh, meeting people. I loved just meeting people. People that, my team members, Penguin Butt and Zack and Ed and Jared and Dave. I think that was all the team, and Danny. Meeting everybody was amazing. And then lots of you were there. Amber's was there. Tiger 500 was there. I don't know if anybody else in chat was there. I think meeting people and just saying hi to them, talking with them was the best part for sure. I loved, as much as I like playing D&D, I didn't play any D&D myself. I ran some games, but the second best part was just playing some of these board games and card games. We played Munchkins once or twice. I love Munchkins. And then we played this other D&D game. I forget the name of it, but I played it several times with different people, and it was very fun. I was always the barbarian. I forget the name of it. Oh, Keith the Gamer Geek, you were there? Okay, cool, sweet. Project the Fork. Hello, Fork. Dungeon Mayhem. Yes, that's it. Dungeon Mayhem. We rescued George. Luke, he was a VIP player, you goof. Who was? What are you talking about? Oh, Ramus. Oh, yeah. Yes. Oh, no. You guys are killing me here. You and Tony both murdered me in that game. What game? What are you talking about? You played Dungeon Mayhem with me? I don't remember playing Dungeon Mayhem with you, dude. Oh, Baldur's Gate. Oh, Baldur's Gate was fun. I liked playing that. I played Dungeon Mayhem with you, Ed? I don't remember that. Dude, I was so busy the whole weekend. I did? Really? Okay. I was super busy that whole weekend, dude. I remember playing Baldur's Gate. Yeah. I was just like one thing to the next. Dong. And then people would need something or there'd be a problem and I'd be like, Penguin Butt, help! I know I called on Jared once to help. And I know Goliath Cleric was doing it awesome. Like all of my team members were doing it amazing. Especially Ed's wife was getting me food. Because I'm just busy and I'm just like probably getting hungry and they're getting me food and stuff. So everybody was helping out. It was amazing. I loved it. Yeah. Next LayerCon. Would you consider being a player in someone else's game? I don't think so. For 2 reasons. One, that's 4 hours that I gotta have my butt in a chair paying attention. And I'm like, it's my convention. I need to be like walking around saying hi to people, talking to people, doing things, you know what I mean? I want to take photos, I want to meet people, you know what I mean? 4 hours, my butt in a chair playing one game, focusing on one game. I don't think I could do that at my convention. I can do it at other conventions, but it's my convention. See, one of the things too that I was doing constantly throughout the convention is I was just kind of paying attention to what's going on. If I saw several times, I saw people come in and just go sit down and they're all by themselves. And I'm like, well, she's just sitting all by herself. Like, that can't be fun. Like, let's go talk to her. Let's go, hey, how you doing? I met a couple people that way. They were just sitting there being quiet, and I'm like, you know what? Let's make them feel welcome. Let's find out, you know, maybe they want to play a game or something. Maybe I can organize a game. Here's some other people. They're not doing anything. Hey, how's it going? My name's Luke. Hey, you want to play a game? Okay, let's play a game. And then I go get some people and we play a game. I did that a couple times. So like, I want to be able to just do stuff like that. You know, I want people to feel welcome. I don't want them to feel like they came to a convention by themselves and now they don't know what to do. Maybe it's their first time at a convention, or maybe they're just not like outgoing and crap, you know, which is cool. So like, I want to be able to just go up and be like, hey, let's go, let's play a game. You know what I mean? And do these little pickup games. And even, and people, and some of the people, you guys know, the games that I was playing, like board games and stuff that weren't even that long of a game, I was constantly getting up and going and doing things, walking away from games. Oh, I was playing in a game with Dave from Tactical Tokens. He was running that Jenga game, Dread, I think it's called. And I was constantly getting up and walking away because I needed to go talk to people. You know what I mean? It's like my convention. So no, I don't think I would play in a D&D game. And that's the first reason. The second reason is I don't want to like make people nervous or something, because like I'm cognizant of like, you know, to me, I'm just a normal person. You know what I mean? But like other people, if Luke from the DM layer goes and sits at their D&D game, they might feel nervous or something, you know, and I don't want to make people feel that way. So that's the other thing that kind of goes through my mind, where I'm just kind of trying to be like, you know, self-aware, but aware of other people's self-awareness stuff. I don't know if that makes sense. And so that's another reason I probably wouldn't do that. Would 100% make me freeze. LOL. Yeah, I know. That's what I don't want to do. You know, I don't want to like mess up people's groove, you know, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. They're worried. Oh no, Luke is in my game. What if I don't run a good game? And they're worried about that. And that in and of itself is going to cause them to run a less good game, you know, than they otherwise would. So yeah, I don't want to do that. Yeah, Dread was fun. I liked that. The power squeegee. My character had a power squeegee. I was using a squeegee to do everything. Luke likes to derail games. That's the other thing too. But I am a very I'm a shenanigans player, because I get bored really quickly, and so I just have my character do shenanigans. And the dungeon master's like, oh gosh, this is one of these players. Jeez. I'm not like that as a DM, but as a player, I don't know, whatever. I also like to walk on the ceilings. All right, let's find some more questions. I answered that one. Oh. How do you handle combat with someone who has a completely optimized build and someone who has a very non-optimized character without anyone feeling under or overwhelmed? I don't deal with that. It's not my problem. It's not, and it's something I have been in many games. I've been a dungeon master in many games, and I have seen that. I have seen the guy come in with a super powerful build of some sort or another, and in that very same game, there are players that are not optimized, don't have super powerful builds, and guess what? They all play together as a group, because it's a group game, and as a dungeon master, I design the encounters based upon the overall, like according to their level, of course, but also according to their ability as a group. And because they play together as a group, the guy who's optimized, he helps protect the butt of the dude who's squishy and not that optimized. Does the guy who's optimized contribute more to the battles than the guy who's not optimized? Sure, that's the nature of the game. That's gonna happen. If you just take a fighter straight out of the player handbook and you take a ranger, play out of the player handbook, that fighter's gonna mop things up potentially. That ranger's gonna lag behind. Now, the gap widens when you have people splashing things and doing other things and using Tashas and stuff like that. You know, the gap will widen, but I have never ever had a problem with having players with character builds of varying strengths and players of varying combat abilities. Like I have some players who are very good at combat, very tactically minded, and can really do it really well. Other players are not. They haven't even figured out to carry a ranged weapon yet. It's like you're level 15 and you don't have a ranged weapon. And now there are 2 adult dragons attacking you and they have meteor swarm and you don't have a ranged weapon. You really screwed that one up, didn't you? So I have some people that are, you know, characters are good and the players are good in the sense of like tactically minded combat, and others that aren't, right? And I've done that many times and I've seen that many times. I have never had an issue. I simply run my games the way I run my games. I don't do anything to account for those different players or for their different builds, and I've never had a problem. Now, Of course, you're going to have a discrepancy. Of course, somebody's going to contribute more than others. It's a group game. It's a team game. It doesn't matter. On any team, anywhere, you're going to have people that contribute more and people that contribute less. But because you're striving together and you're doing things together, you know, this person's strengths make up for this person's weaknesses and vice versa. So I've never had an issue with that. And it's interesting because I get that question a lot. And I don't know where it's coming from because I've never observed having that power discrepancy be an issue in a game. I've never observed it. You know, it almost, if the group isn't playing as a team, then maybe it becomes an issue. Or if the players are somehow holding grudges against the other players for not being optimized, I can see it being a problem. If the group is splitting up all the time or doing things, I don't know. I guess there could be situations that it becomes a problem. I would love to actually witness and see when it's actually a problem. Part of me wonders to what extent that is a non-problem that sometimes we think is a problem that we need to solve for, because there are some problems that we try to solve that aren't actually problems, and we should probably just not worry about them. For me, this is a non-problem. On paper, it sounds like an issue. In practice, I've never found it to be an issue. So that's my non-answer for you. Luke does nothing. I let the players figure it out, and we've always been okay. If people refuse to work as a team, then that's the problem. Yeah. So let's address the root issue. You guys don't work together as a team. This is a group game. You should work together as a team. And then that's the root issue, not because somebody's character is more powerful than the other. Oh, I haven't experienced that as a problem either, but I have seen some people use it as a justification to ban min-maxers. Well, those people are kind of dumb. Dude, I kind of like min-maxers in a way. You know why? Because it just it makes my life easier. I can worry less about TPKing you. I can worry less about using a big bad monster. I'm like, you guys are kind of min-maxed and tripped out, and you can do lots of damage, and you can take a punch, which means I can use the really cool monsters that we don't get to use that much because you guys are pretty powerful. And it just, I don't know, it's interesting. Some dungeon masters might feel threatened by that, like, oh, how am I gonna do it? How am I gonna do it? And for me, it's just like, dude, if you guys are all tripped out and min-maxed and stuff, then giddy up, let's go. I'm gonna throw some more monsters in there. I'm gonna adjust some things. Now, if you're running a module, yeah, that could throw things off, where you're just like, okay, I have a level 5 group, and this level 5 in the module, they're just destroying everything. What am I gonna do? Yeah, you might have to adjust some things. I adjust almost everything in the modules I run. There are very, very few encounters in modules that I use as is. For my Curse of Strahd game, I adjust a lot of stuff. And the longer they take to do an adventure, the more it gets adjusted, because every time I prep, I'm like, I might change that. I might change that. It's like they started off running this dungeon, and it was mostly from the book, because I didn't have time to adjust anything. I just had to prep the dungeon as is. But then, you know, every session that goes by that they're still going into the dungeon, Luke is going in and poking at things and adjusting more and more and more, until finally they get to like the boss fight, and they're just like, holy crap, what happened? And I'm like, yeah, you guys took 5 sessions to get through the dungeon. Luke was having fun while you were, you know, taking your time. Does anyone know if the Mage Tower mentioned on Patreon is the same as Luke's Curse of Strahd Wizard Tower? It's almost the same. One of our writers had to do some rework to that adventure for us to be able to publish it. But it's almost the same. It's based on the same concept. So yes, the answer is yes, with a caveat that I just explained. I love min-maxers because I min-max the monsters and make them more deadly, or use Tomo Beasts. You guys, I cannot recommend Tomo Beasts so much enough. It's amazing. I have to get Creature Codex, but I'm still like, there's so many monsters in Tomo Beasts, I'm still like reading through and using them. So in like 3 years, when I get bored from Tomo Beast monsters, I'll buy Creature Codex too. I cannot recommend those books enough. You know, it's interesting. For years, all I ever bought was like Wizards of the Coast official books. And then I think it was Ed. I know Amber's was telling me too, but I think Ed was telling me as well that I think Amber's, I think you won the Tome of Beasts in a giveaway or something. And I was looking through it before I sent it to you and I was like, hey, these look cool. And then Ed was telling me about it. And then I got my own. And now that I look at these third-party things, at least for Cobalt Press, for Tome of Beasts, I'm like, oh my gosh, these are so good. These monsters are so good. It's kind of like making me more interested in third-party stuff. Maybe the big boys aren't the best boys. Ambers, I have your email. I saw your email. I'm right now where I find myself in the problem of having way too much to do and not enough time to do it. So I'm focusing on like, gotta get the videos done. I gotta get the scripts done. Okay, I need to publish Lair magazine. I have a Kickstarter coming up. So I just have like a deluge of things. I have your email. I hope to get to it. I apologize. I just have way too much. I'm just like drowning here. Passing reminder, don't forget redemptions. Do we have a redemption? Oh man, we need to do it. We need to do a cat strike. Let's do a cat strike really quick. My kitties need food. Here you go. This is what they've been waiting for. Look at these guys. They're like, hello, that's why we're here, human. We want the food. I have 6 out of 7 cats down here tonight. What? What is your problem? There. Squirty, go get some food. Come on. Get over there. Get some food. Don't yell at me. Get some food.
No más, te digo cada vez que pasa. Quizás no quieres algo más, no estoy. Será que fue un sueño, pero desperté. No sé qué somos. Hey baby, dime qué somos, porque siempre andamos solos. Nunca en tu barrio ni el vecindario saben tú y yo. Hey baby, dime qué somos, porque siempre andamos solos. Solamente dime si es un vacile, al menos sé que somos. Me trajo para buscar esa respuesta. Muchos lo preguntan pero no contestas. Yo no sé lo que yo soy para ti. Y eso es algo que a mí sí me molesta. Cambia la actitud como quieras, no sé, pero ya no aguanto este juego otra vez. Si es que tú me quieres, hoy lo quiero ver. Ponme tu perfil y di que eres mi mujer. No sé qué somos. Si más que amigos estamos bien. Si no, pues dime que yo me bajo ahora de este tren. No sé qué somos. Si más que amigos estamos bien. Si no, pues dime que
You had all 7 cats. Oh my gosh, all 7 of them. Ugh. So is a herd of cats? Is a herd of cats a cackle of kittens? A pride? I like cackle of kittens. I like that. Oh, nice. We have a screenshot of them. Cool. Cool. More difficult than herding cats? I know how to herd cats. I just herded 7 cats. I don't know what anybody else's problem is. Well, yeah, post your rant again. I don't know. if I have it or not. Where are my redemptions? Here we go. Okay. Oh, a cat. Okay, so a cat. I did a cat strike. That's done. Luke rant. If I may make a suggestion on the rant. Rogue annoys the barbarian enough to get a punch critical hit. Does the rogue learn his lesson? No. The rogue never learns his lesson. I don't know what to rant on though. That didn't get me ranting. Make Luke talking character. Can do that one. The rogue. How do you pitch a theme of a campaign? Do you present a few options for them to choose from, or do you brainstorm with all of them at once?
What are you talking about? Options? Options for a campaign? They're gonna do what I want them to do. I'm gonna create the campaign that I want to run, and I'm gonna tell my players about it. And if they don't like that, then they can kiss it and stabby time. Screw them. It's my game. I'm the dungeon master. I'm gonna run the game I want to run. And if they don't want to play it, too bad. Get their butts in those chairs and roll those dice. I'll pitch a campaign. They play my game or they get stabbed in the face. It's a bunch of bullcrap. Asking questions like that.
That's how the rogue runs his games. It's a railroad? Yes, it's a railroad. That's the rogue. That wasn't the rogue. Gary the intern has the same voice, but his mannerisms are different. Like people always are like, Gary the intern and the rogue sound the same. They have the same voice, but their mannerisms are completely different. So that's how you recognize the two or distinguish the two. How do you get the players to take the agency you are hold on a second. Let's go back to the real camera. How do you get players to take the agency you are providing for them? My players always seem to follow the path of least resistance through every adventure. Of course, why wouldn't they? And never go outside of the basic foundation I set. Yeah, it's easy. They're going to take the easiest route. Yeah, of course they would. I'm an old school gamer and it confuses me that they never want to find unique solutions to problems or set character goals. Why should they? Why should they find unique solutions to problems? The best solution is the easiest solution. If the problem can be solved by smashing down the door, kicking butts and taking names, if that's the easiest way to solve the problem, and that's a 30-minute combat, let's do it. Or if we have to use a whole bunch of subterfuge and sneaking around and like diplomacy stuff and making up stuff and lies and stuff, and maybe we don't get caught, maybe it works, but there's risk to it. That's harder. That's more difficult and that's more risky. You know, whereas if I can just break down the door and kill some people and get what I need, that's pretty easy. I'm gonna do that, and I get to fight in combat. Like that's what I want to do. I want to fight in combat. Like 90% of my books and crap are about combat. I want to use my spells. I want to use my special abilities. I want to fight some stuff. I love that crap. So if the complaint or the concern is that they're doing things the easy way, good. That should be the expectation. Like people do things the easiest way possible. Like if I say, look you need to get to the top of this mountain. There's a ski lift over there that will take you to the top, or there's that mountain trail right there covered with rocks and snow and hazardous conditions. You can climb up that mountain trail. What's somebody gonna choose? They're gonna choose the ski lift, of course, unless they're one of these like, you know, I'm in shape. I'm taking the mountain trail. I'll see you next week. Like maybe you get somebody like that, but most people are taking the ski lift to the top. So if we don't want them to take the most easiest, the most conventional way, if we want them to have to think outside the box and overcome a challenge in a different way, then you can't let there be an easy, obvious route. You need to make them, okay, that's not gonna work. If you kill them, you lose. If you just do X, Y, or Z, those are outside the conditions of success. The parameters of success are these, and if you do that, you fail the mission. Like if you want to encourage them and you want them to do something different outside the box, then you need to provide not only you're saying, how do you help them to take advantage of the agency? The answer is not only providing them the agency, but you need to provide motivators to take a different path, a path less traveled. All right. So they're going to go the easy route unless you make that easy route not the best route for some reason, to encourage them to take a different route. However, at that point, guess what we're doing? Our original thing is give them agency. They can do whatever they want, but they always go this way. So how do I push them to go a different way, a non-conventional way? And the moment we do that, what are we doing? We're taking away agency again, aren't we? So instead of saying do whatever you want, the easy route, the combat, or something unconventional, we're saying, you know what? Don't do the easy route. Don't do that way. Do the unconventional way. And now we're pushing them a certain direction. So baked into that question is kind of an assumption that we give them agency, but we're also taking it away. And at that point, you got to wonder, are you really giving them agency if you're trying to push them down a different route? So I think it's okay to have certain missions that have certain parameters. For instance, I've totally given my players missions before where they are explicitly told, do not kill certain enemies or certain individuals. And if you kill them, you lose. And so they have that does that take away some agency? Yeah, but it gives them parameters. It gives them a conditioned victory set where they have to follow these certain things. Like, you know what? This bad guy at the end, you can't kill him because X, Y, and Z reasons. And all the other minions, you can do what you want. Oh, by the way, we want you to steal these 12 swords, but do not take any other treasure in that mansion, because if you do, X, Y, and Z. And guess what? Sometimes the players kill that guy they weren't supposed to, and consequences. Sometimes the players steal that treasure they weren't supposed to steal, and consequences. So we can set parameters and things to kind of guide them a certain way, but we still need to give them that agency, that ability to choose. Otherwise, they don't have the agency. But you don't have to give them 100% agency in everything. If you want them to have to do a completely sneaky mission, because honestly, you're getting tired of them just killing everything and you want them to have to experience and go through something a little differently, that's fine. I don't see any problem with that. Just be aware that the moment we say, you know, give them agency but push them down a certain route that's non-traditional, we're essentially taking away agency. So there's a little bit of a oxymoron or some sort of like circular little thing that doesn't quite work with that assumption. So be aware of that. But I think it's perfectly normal to expect our players to take the easiest path, and for them to take the path, that they enjoy, that they find the most interesting and most fun. If you give me as a player options, all right, well, you can just go fight everything in the dungeon. You could go talk to things and try to convince them, or do talkie with them, diplomacy your way to victory. Or you can do sneaky stuff. You know what I'm going to do every single time? I'm going to fight everything in that dungeon if I think that I can win. Because that's the most fun to me as a player. That's what I enjoy as a player. Combat's fun. I love tactical combat. It's the best thing in the world. Here's the other thing too. In the question it says, I'm an old school gamer, and it confuses me that they never want to find unique solutions to problems or set character goals. So the last part of that, character goals. I feel like I don't know all gamers everywhere, obviously, but the perception I've gotten is that old school gamers are more likely to be interested in things like character goals. Newer school, younger gamers are probably not as concerned with character goals. And the reason I come to this conclusion is based on my experiences with players. The older players that I've had usually want to do things like, I want to build a wizard's tower. I want to do X, Y, or Z. These are motivations that I want to do for my character. These are my character goals. Younger gamers I play with usually don't care about those things a whole lot. They usually just want to go on adventures and kick down doors, usually fight things. You know, they're less concerned about character goals. I'm generalizing a little bit because I absolutely have had younger characters who do have character goals and do want to do X, Y, or Z. But I feel like that is definitely more of a thing that folks used to do and is kind of like fading out of, you know, popularity. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. To be very clear, just because a thing was a thing like in X year, there's no reason that people that play today need to adopt that thing. I understand that certain people really like those things and love those things, and that's wonderful, but not everybody does, and not everybody should or has to. It's perfectly acceptable for like people to have different interests in things, you know? So if somebody likes character goals and likes to build their character, and that's great, let's do it. I encourage that. If somebody doesn't give a flying crap about that and just wants to like go on adventures and gain power and get magic items and get loot, that's great. You guys are playing different facets of the same game. Your focus is this and your focus is this. That's wonderful. Let's play, you know, and we'll play the game together, and you'll do the things you like and they'll do the things they like. We all get to play together. We all get to have fun. We don't all have to play the game with the same desires and goals and you know what I mean? We don't all have to be playing that same exact type of game. It's a very wide game with lots of different things that could interest lots of different people. And I think that's why it appeals to a lot of people too, because there's that freedom to play the little part and focus on the little thing that you personally enjoy while still playing together as a group, as a whole, and having fun together. So I think that's an advantage and a beauty of the game. So I don't think that it's reasonable or that we should try to, you know, have, you know, force our thoughts on what's the best part of the game on others and make them conform to that. You know, I think we should just be like, okay, let's play the game. And we all play the parts of the game that we love playing. That was an answer. Where's my thingy? I can't find my thingy. That sounds weird. Ooh. Don't laugh at me. Ed, what are you talking about? Can I sit in on a Peak D&D game as a guest player? Wait, is Carrot Hammer a Peak D&D person? Carrot Hammer, who are you? What is Ed doing? What the heck's going on over here? Chat is having a party without me. Oh, Tony. Okay, cool. Hold on a second. Hey! Squirty, leave her alone. Squirty Pie is bothering mommy. Oh, there are 3 Peak D&D people in here? Oh, wow. Have we dropped a link to their YouTube channel yet? Please, moderator, if one of you would be so kind. I want to send some folks their way. What else was I gonna do? What did you say about Nick? Nick's the only DM? Nick's only the DM. He doesn't get a vote. Oh, he doesn't get to vote. He's only the DM. He's only the DM. Where I come from, the DM has power. What's going on around here? They're going to strap expensive boards on their feet and plunge down mountains? Oh, I don't want to do that. Dude, I'm never going back to Colorado again. My wife and I went on vacation. We drove from Michigan through Minnesota, Wisconsin, South Dakota, all the way over. It was like Montana, Wyoming. We went out to, what is it? What's the name of that big park? The big park that's going to explode one day? Yellowstone. We went out to Yellowstone, drove through Yellowstone, and then we went down to Colorado Springs. And between the tolls and the traffic, I don't know that we're ever going back to Colorado, no offense. And it was like, it's like, yeah, this is, I'd rather, what was it? Well, where we go through? I think it was South Dakota. South Dakota was just like, there was another one too. Was it Wyoming? Maybe it wasn't Wyoming. I think it was a different state, but there were some states that was just like endless, like grazing land. And you'd see clumps of cattle here and there, but it was just endless grazing. It was like, wow, there is nothing out here except for like herds of cattle. Yellowstone. The big parts, it's going to explode one day, and everyone knew what was meant. Yes. You'd pick Florida or Colorado for what? Oh, I actually have a command for Peak D&D. Oh, cool. Nebraska is one big cornfield in my experience. Oh, Nebraska, nice. Wyoming. The Peak D&D guys are hilarious. Dude, you guys, I had so much fun in our game. Oh my gosh, I cannot tell you how much fun that was. Like, seriously, if we've talked about this before on stream. Like, people have asked me how to have a successful D&D show. If you wanted to like stream and run a D&D show, like what would you do? And my answer has always been, you need to assemble an all-star cast. You need to have a cast of people that are entertaining. Like that's the way to run a D&D show. You know, like you don't get together a group of your friends to run a D&D show unless your friends are all, you know, outgoing and entertaining and witty, and you can have some cool banter back and forth. Like the way to run a successful D&D show, like Critical Role or some of these other shows like that, is you need a cast that is suited for the task. And I gotta tell you, I played the game with you guys, and I'm like, after in my mind, I was like, these are the guys right here, dude. Like, if you wanted to have like a D&D show where you just had like, you know, the outgoing DM and all the players are all just like, and everybody's working together, supporting each other with the wit and the banter and the talking in character and just being amazing. I was like, this is the cast right here. This is the cast, dude. Yeah, it was such a fun game. Your guys are all like talking in character, and then you're like interacting back and forth in character. And I'm just like, this is hilarious. These guys are awesome. Oh my gosh, that was so amazing. That was so much fun. You got their autographs? Oh geez, they didn't give me their autographs. I'm not being kind. I'm being honest and serious. I'm being honest. I don't lie. Except for sometimes I have to lie, like, you know, to the government. Probably not. No, I don't do that, government. Oh yeah, oh, the winning characters. Oh, that's right. Have you guys contacted the winning character people yet? Oh, cool. Thank you. Awesome. Dude, that game was so fun. That dungeon that we made, that dungeon on stream, by the way. Oh, that dungeon that you guys, if you want to see the dungeon you ran, it's going to be published tomorrow. No, I already published it. Did I already publish it? It's already out. Yeah, it's already out on my website, thedmlayer.com. You can already get that adventure if you want to look at it. We created it on stream like about a month ago or so. And I changed some things as you guys were going through the adventure, because that's what DMs do. But a lot of it was exactly as written. And obviously you ad lib stuff and you make up stuff as you go too, because a lot of the details you fill in, you know, as you go. They don't exist beforehand. That's just what the Dungeon Master does. That's the magic of the Dungeon Master. All right. Oh, Sajia, thank you for the tier 1. I appreciate that. 21 minutes ago. Luke's behind. How do you feel about campaigns or dungeons based off outside media like video games? If you want to do it, that's cool. I sometimes think of video games I've played as inspiration to make a dungeon. Like if I'm in a rut and I'm just like, I need a nice cool dungeon, I used to play Dungeons and Dragons Online, and they had lots of cool adventures in there. I'll think of one and I'll be like, what'd they do in this one? Ooh, that's right. Oh, that sounds cool. And so I'll use it for inspiration and stuff. I don't think there's any problem with that. Level-based game systems versus skill-based game systems, pros and cons. Well, I don't. Okay, so the only skill-based game systems I've used haven't actually been like tabletop role-playing games. They've been like, you know, Elder Scrolls games, basically. Those are like skill-based game systems. They still have levels, but your skills are way more important. The skills you develop are more important than your levels. As far as tabletop games, I've really only played level-based ones. The thing is that if you're using a skill-based system, I think the theory goes that you get good at the things you use or the things you train at. You intentionally have to use them or train. I think that's how the theory goes. And then you get good at those things. And I like that conceptually. I think that's really cool conceptually, and I think it makes real world sense. I would need to see it in practice at the game table to see how it actually works, to see if I like it or not. So I can't really give you a pros and cons of the two because I'm not experienced well enough with one of them to be able to give you that answer. You know what I mean? I'm interested in it. I think it would be cool. The problem is that D&D and games like it are, I mean, it's at the top. It's almost always going to be at the top. And so it's just going to have more people to get drawn to it. You know, they're the big boys in the mountain, you know, until 5.5 comes out and we'll see what changes they make. Everybody's speculating. Everybody's giving their wish lists. These are our top 10 things that we wish to have in the next edition. These are my speculations. I think they're going to change these things right here for this edition. Everybody's like speculating and making videos. I should do one of those videos. This is what's going to be in 5th at 5.5. Oh man, this should just be a stupid spoof video. Like seriously, like what's the point of making a video when you don't know anything? It's like, all right, folks, we have the definitive answer now. We know what's going to be in 5.5. Let's just make a dumb video about that. I should totally do that. That's my type of video. Stupid, pointless video. Just laugh at me. I could rant about it. Oh, I'm actually scripting right now. Zach, are you here? Editor Zach, are you in the chat? Sometimes he is. I'm doing my scripts right now for November videos because I'm filming next week for November videos. And there are 5 Tuesdays in November, so I have to do 5 scripts and 5 videos. And actually today in the morning, I was finishing up one of my scripts and I was thinking to myself, I want to do something different or fun. Like I was looking at the videos that I was planning on doing and I was like, I need something cool. I should totally just move one of them to a different month and then make some sort of 5.5 spoof video. I'll get Wizards of the Coast mad at me. Like, he's making fun of us. Yeah. Healing word reduced to a 1d2, a coin flip. Just take healing word out of the game. Piece of junk spell. I have my enemies use healing word now. Every time I have a healer, I have them use healing word. Peak D&D, I didn't get to use this on you, but those priests that you fought that were like casting spirit guardians and stuff, they totally had healing word. And the Deva that you fought was gonna, like, when people started dropping, I was totally gonna have them start casting healing word. I was totally gonna have them do that. So you'd like drop somebody and then whoop, another one healing word, they get back up. They pull up spirit guardians again. You drop the Deva and one of the priests is like healing word, gets back up again. That was totally my plan. But our game slot was going over significantly, and so I had to wrap things up. I was like, I can't draw this out any longer. Like if I start having them heal each other and then people start getting back up again, this is just gonna take us like forever. I was totally planning on doing that, but I needed to wrap the game up. So the needs to run the game overruled my desire to use healing word against my players. I'll always feel bad about that, but okay, here we go. Ed, my prediction for 5.5: 1 minute mini rest where you get to spend hit dice, 10-minute short rest for half your hit points, 1 hour long rest for a complete refresh. Yes, just make the game easier and easier. Nobody ever has to sleep. No, because that restricts your dear and precious players. You could no longer just go through slaughtering and being super powerful. You have to take rests. You can get injured. Oh my dear Lord, no. Also, death saves. Stabilize with 1 success. Die with 12 failures. Make the game easier and easier and easier. Well, yeah, you don't want to lose. You don't want to have the story. You want to lose the story. You know, you want people to be able to experience the story of the campaign from start to end. You know? So you can't have them die. Don't be a cruel and heartless person now. Yeah. Always have your NPCs use healing word and counterspell. Oh, I use the crap out of counterspell. Oh, if I don't forget, because sometimes I forget. I'm like, oh. I sometimes forget to use legendary resistances too. I once totally screwed up an entire battle by forgetting to use legendary resistances. Use their healing potions? I've had villains use healing potions before too. Like, the players are like, how's he looking? He's moderately wounded. All right, keep hitting him. And then the bad guy's like, and I roll like, you know, what is it? 20d4. And they're just like, he just used the biggest healing potion that there is. That was our loot. I forget things as a DM all the time. It's hard. You've got so much crap going on. How do you go about RPing an in-canon NPC that has a bunch of existing lore? I read up on it and I do the best I can. I've had you've mentioned Strahd. I've had to roleplay Strahd before, so I read up on the lore as best I can and I do my best. Anything from Curse of Strahd, Rudolf von Liechtenstein or Van Richten, and all of those different people, Esmeralda, all of those different people. I read their lore, I read their backstories, and I roleplay them the best I can. That's all I can do. So yeah, it's just acting. It's acting. You read their backstories. Okay, this is what they've gone through in their lives. That should inform my thoughts. That should inform my decisions. That should inform my actions. And then things I say. All of that backstory should inform everything that I do and how I behave as an NPC. It's acting. It's all it is. Okay, considering all of this, how would I behave? How would I react? What would I say? What would I do? That's all it really is. So you just keep those things in mind, and you're role playing your character. You're acting your character. You're being your character. So that's all I do. I don't do anything special. I do nothing special. I'm literally just, you gave me a role. I read up on the role, and now I am playing the role. I am role playing. That's all I do. I have no special tricks. No special tricks. I have the monster manual already, obviously. Which book should I get for more monsters first? You mentioned Tome of Beasts. Absolutely get Tome of Beasts. Could somebody link my Amazon store? I have on my Amazon store list all the bunch of different products I use, but Tome of Beasts are on there. Definitely get Tome of Beasts 1, get Tome of Beasts 2. You will have amazing, awesome, beautiful monsters to use, and they're really, really cool. Cannot emphasize it enough. Skip the Wizards of the Coast stuff. Skip it. If you want monsters, and you buy Volo's Guide to Monsters, only half of the book actually has monster stat blocks in it. If you buy Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes, only half of the book actually has monsters in it. Why, Luke? Why, Luke? Does only half of a monster manual have monsters in it? Because they're trying to sell the book to more than just dungeon masters. They're also trying to sell the book to players. That's why they're like sneaking in player material and stuff, because they're trying to make their books marketable to the entire player base, not just dungeon masters. Because if you make a book marketable to both players and dungeon masters, you sell more books. And so what results is, if you really just want monsters, only half of the book is monsters. The rest of it, especially Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes, is lore that's useful to a dungeon master, but if you want monsters, not necessary. Now the lore in Volo's Guide to Monsters is much better because it's monster lore, and I find that to be much more useful. It's not just lore too. It has lots of useful information about running goblins and hags and beholders and mind flayer. So there's actually very useful information in there to help you run your monsters. But Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes, they really just went down a rabbit hole with trying to give stuff to players as well. I feel like, I don't know, it wasn't a monster manual. It was like some sort of like, some marketing guy was like, hey, we need to sell books, just slip some stuff in there. I don't know, dude. Some dude in a suit made a bad decision, or some morons were in a room, you know, some suits were in a room talking. I blame everything on suits, by the way. Most of the time, people doing the frontline work are pretty capable and intelligent people of doing good work. Almost any time in a large company, when you have really stupid things that happen, almost always somebody that is like once or twice removed from the actual work, who doesn't understand the work, who doesn't understand the customers, who doesn't understand something, making a decision and then enforcing it. And the people at the front line who are closer to the product, closer to the work, closer to the customers, and know things a lot better, you know, they don't have a voice in things a lot of times. It's the people over here that are making the decisions, and the people at the front are just like, yeah, that's a stupid decision, but you're the boss. You're paying my paycheck, so okay. And then we get sometimes the things we get. I've ranted about that before. There's your rant. There's your rant. I just redeemed a rant. Somebody put a rant in. That was your redemption right there. I'm going to click that as done. I gave you your rant. Whee! Yeah, you can't lose touch with people on the ground. The company that I'm in right now, not my company, the company that I work in right now, that's the problem we suffer from. Managers make boneheaded decisions, really stupid decisions, and they lose lots of talented people. People leave the company left and right, and you're stuck with the people that can't get other jobs, and you're stuck with the bad talent because the good talent's finding new jobs. We're losing tons of people right now because they're pulling, like, we've been working remotely from our homes and our home computer setups for 1.5 years, almost 2 years now. Almost 2 years we've been working remotely successfully, very successfully. I work in the IT department, very successfully working remotely. No, I mean, I'm sure there are some teams that are struggling and need closer supervision in the office or something, but like many of us, most of us have been very, very successful working from home. And now our company is like, oh, you got to come back in the office. No. Why? Because we value collaboration. They just give us all these smokescreen bullcrap answers that everybody sees through, and they don't make any sense and nobody believes, because they just want us back in the office for reasons that they won't disclose. They give us their official reasons, which we all think are horse crap. They want us back in the office. And so what do you got? You got people, okay, goodbye, going to Netflix. Goodbye, I'm going to Amazon. Goodbye, going to Microsoft. Goodbye, goodbye. I'm going somewhere where they let me work from home because I don't want to go to the office. And so a lot of our talent, a lot of our good people are leaving to go work remotely because other companies will offer that. And our company's just like, you gotta be in the office because we're old school. I work in financial services, and people in financial services, they're antiquated. They are slow to adapt. They are slow to bring up. We are just in the last 2 years starting to use agile development. We have been using waterfall development for like forever. Every other company, well, maybe not all of them. Some big behemoths, probably government and stuff like that, probably still use waterfall. But like so many, everybody's just agile's this the way to go. We're only now starting to work agilely. It's a development methodology. We're only now starting to do it. We're so far behind in everything we do. And we suffer in so many ways, and it's like the dog returning to its vomit, you know? Like we keep doing the same like, oh, we're gonna be at the back of the, yeah, I don't know. Oh, the government has been moving to agile for a few years now. Okay, cool. That's good. It's so much better. Even the government's doing it. My company was oh my, oh dear. Oh, you oversee several Scrum Masters. Oh, cool. That's awesome. Let me ask you, Ed, are your Scrum Masters problem makers? Like, are they always finding problems and criticizing like stuff that's going on, the status quo, and suggesting ways to change things and improve things? I'm curious. It's kind of in the job description, but how obnoxious are they? How obnoxious are they? Because some of the Scrum Masters I work with are obnoxious, dude. I just want to throttle them. That's what we pay them for. Yeah, it's part of the job description. I know, but sometimes they're just like, oh my gosh. I just want to throttle them. There's one in particular that I can't stand. She needs to stop talking to me. Oh my gosh. We generally supply the problems to them. They process change requests to our system. Well, that's interesting. See, I don't do that as a Scrum Master. I just tell my team. My team does all that kind of stuff. Anyway, whatever. Let's talk about D&D. When's the Dungeon Coach parody video coming? Oh, I don't know. I have XP to level 3 has one coming out. And I was torn. I was really torn. I had 2 options for XP to level 3. That guy's awesome, by the way. I love his videos. His skits are hilarious. I had 2 options for XP to level 3. My first option was to lie on the floor with a camera pointed at me and do a video that way. And so that was so tempting. And then the other option was to do one of like the skits and stuff. And I did a skit, but I'm gonna have to lie on the floor one of these days and do a video that way. It's like, I'm just lying on the floor. Yeah. I did a skit this time. That's gonna come out at the end of October. So 2 more weeks that'll come out. The next one that I'm gonna, after XP level 3, Bob the World Builder did a video on something like I walked 24 miles to see if I could do it in a day. He was basically testing out the idea of like being able to walk 24 miles in one day. And so I did a video of the barbarian going, well, I'm actually gonna film it this weekend. The barbarian is going to go into the woods to walk. It's freaking hilarious. I scripted it. I have to film it this weekend with my buddy John. It's gonna be freaking hilarious. The barbarian. So that's that one. I don't know which one's gonna be after that. The Dungeon Coach will get his time. I'm kind of like saving that one. That's gonna be fun. There are gonna be so many timeouts in that video. I'm gonna be like, hi, I'm Luke Hart. Timeout. It'll be the very beginning of the video. Timeout. Can we build it? Yes, we can. No, we can't. When you're ready for me to play Nerdarchist Ted for a Nerdarchy parody video, let me know. Oh, interesting. Usually I do the parody videos of me. I do it myself. It's easier that way, and I like acting, but we'll see. Gotta love those timeouts. As often as commercials on American TV. Oh my gosh, I can't stand watching I don't have cable. Dude, these people want to put commercials? I'm already paying for you. I'm already paying for the programming, and you want to put commercials? And I don't have cable. I have Netflix, no commercials. I have Disney Plus because it came with my phone. No commercials. What was it? By the way, the Avengers kind of suck. Like the first Avengers movie is pretty good. The second Avengers movie, it's like, what are you doing here? The third Avengers movie, I'm just like, holy crap. You guys just screwing this up, aren't you? I want to watch Deadpool and Deadpool 2 though, and I can't find where those are even on. So. Wait, you don't say water? What do you say? You say wooder? Really? I don't know if Deadpool's on Disney. It should be because it's a Marvel thing, and Disney, like, I think owns Marvel or something like that. I just want to watch Deadpool. Yeah, they are R-rated. Luke, when are you going to do a video with purple hair? Or green hair? I don't know. Some people are sensitive. Some people are sensitive. Little guy, shut up. Ed, come get your cat. What is your problem? Look at this guy. Look, he wants me to rub his belly. Wants me to rub his belly. I'm not rubbing your belly. Come here. You are a butthead. Lie down. Lie down. Right here. You little butthead. Look at him. Look at him. There he goes. Come over on the camera. Better get your butt up to Michigan and take this cat, Ed. That's all I got to say. We are tired of rubbing his belly. My group seems to try to rely on stealth a ton. Basically every... Whoops. Let's give you a good camera. Maybe you don't want to look at me. Maybe you'd rather look at my cats. Basically, every hallway or corridor or cave, they asked to stealth quietly. Even when my one player swapped PCs, their first thought was, how do I remove stealth disadvantage from heavy armor? Any advice on how to find a middle ground here? Why? What middle ground do you need? If they want to stealth quietly, I would let them stealth quietly. I'm not going to discourage them from stealthing quietly. How do I remove stealth disadvantage from heavy armor? No. No. You're not losing that. That's the reason. That's one of the drawbacks of having heavy armor. That's the drawback. I'm not compromising on that. If you want to remove stealth disadvantage from heavy armor, I believe mithril, if you get mithril heavy armor, that will remove the stealth, like the disadvantage of stealth. I believe it's mithril. I'm not compromising on that. That is there in the rules as a trade-off. If you want to wear the heaviest of armor and get a high armor class, you have disadvantage on stealth. That's the way it works. I am not changing that. So that's what Luke would do. That's the way. If you don't want disadvantage on stealth, don't wear heavy armor, dude. That's the answer. I'm not negotiating on that. Or find mithril armor. Or find some magical armor or something. I don't know. I mean, and it might require a special adventure to get the thing that you want to remove stealth, but I'm not compromising on that. The middle ground is don't wear heavy armor. It's one of those things where Luke's not gonna budge. I'm a new DM and new player. My group talked me into running a game because they just wanted me to homebrew a story. I have them hooked on the story, but is there any advice for running the combat? Probably. That's a very, very vague, generic question. I don't even know where to start. I probably have lots of videos on my YouTube channel about running combat. Thank you, Penguin Butt. Penguin Butt's like, watch my D&D videos here. Yeah, I'd go watch some YouTube videos. Go onto my channel, search for combat, and I'm sure I've published lots of videos on combat because combat is like a big part of the game. So I would check that out and see what you come up with. It's a very vague, generic question, so I don't have anything really besides go watch my videos. Sorry, I know I'm sleepy. Recently, I've only been allowing Wizards of the Coast official content. Should I start allowing third party, and what is the best third party to allow? The 5e wiki, no! Has a bunch of non-official stuff, no! That's homebrew garbage, don't go there. You need to rebalance every homebrew garbage you find out there. And I doubt any of it is tested. No, it's not! Here's the thing, there's some homebrew that's not tested, that's not that big of a deal because it has limited impact on the game. I homebrew adventures all the time. Do I play test my adventures before I play them for my players? No, my players are the play testers and I adjust things and or whatever, it is what it is. But when you're talking about races and classes and feats and spells, there are some things that stay in the game for an extended period of time that need to be tested and balanced and stuff like that. And people who are homebrewing out there on D&D Wiki and stuff, you just got to do to the computer just being like, woo, let's go. And they're just making crazy crap up. Nobody's checking it. Nobody's balancing it. Nothing of that happens. So don't do that. If you want homebrewed stuff that you as a dungeon master to use in your games, then I'm going to recommend Lair Magazine, which is a publication I make for my patrons every month. So if you're looking for traps, puzzles, adventures, monsters, then Lair Magazine is a great resource. And we have a team of people. Ed is our lead developer. He checks these things for balance and all this kind of stuff to levels that I could not do myself. This guy's amazing. And we have other people put eyeballs on them as well to make sure that we're not publishing something stupid. Usually. I'm sure things have slipped by. If you're looking for a homebrew, if you're looking for third-party player resources, I don't buy and use player resources because I'm a dungeon master, so I really am not aware of any. I know they're out there. I know people are doing them. I know people do Kickstarters for them and crap. I just don't have any that I have personally read, used, and therefore can recommend. So I got nothing. I'm a big dummy. Sorry. I could lie to you. I think I answered that one. I answered that one. When a player casts a spell like conjure woodland beings or conjure animals, do you let them choose what creatures are summoned, or does the DM choose? My gosh, you're the DM. You pick one, dude. If you say that the DM is going to choose, your players won't cast that spell because you know what they want? They want the pixies that can polymorph everybody into a T-Rex. That's what they're gunning for. You know they are. So if you say that you're going to choose and you don't give them pixies, they're going to be like, screw that, Mr. Dungeon Master. We're not using that spell anymore. You just nerfed us. Because we've watched videos on YouTube about it and things on Reddit, and we just want to use the pixies to become T-Rexes, you jerk. So if you choose, they're going to be like, they'll consider it a nerf. If you let them choose, you're going to get 5 T-Rexes in your next combat. This is how I would say it. Generally speaking, I have a couple rules with summons. First of all, you can summon 1 creature. You get 1 creature. I'm not gonna have a pack of creatures summoned. It bogs the entire game down. It's horrible. This is something that I love about Tasha's. I will rip Tasha's to shreds all day long. I will complain. I will piss and moan about Tasha's until all copies on the earth are burned and gone. But one thing, there are a couple things I like about Tasha's, but one of the things I for sure like about Tasha's, love about Tasha's, is the fact that their summon spells are 1 summon, and it scales with your level. I think it scales based upon your proficiency bonus or something like that, but that's not the point. It scales with you. You have 1 summon, which doesn't bog the game down. They seem to be a lot better balanced than summons out of the original core system. Yeah, so that's really great. So I would just say use Tasha's. Not screw around with these stupid other summon spells that just make the game get bogged down, and sometimes all levels of broken too. I haven't answered your question. What I would say is you get 1 summon, you get to choose what you summon. I roleplay what you summon. You are not in control of that summoned creature. You can ask them to do things, you can tell them to do things and stuff, but you can't, you can't tell them polymorph me into a T-Rex. Has that pixie ever seen a T-Rex? Have they seen a T-Rex before? Can they polymorph you into a T-Rex? I would also say, is it in their character to polymorph you into a T-Rex? Pixies are not aggressive, mean creatures. Pixies are peace-loving. They're tricksters and stuff like that, but they're peace-loving. They're probably not going to turn a party of adventurers into T-Rexes that can then maw and consume and rampage through a dungeon. That would horrify them that they were responsible for that sort of slaughter. So they're not gonna do that. First of all, it's not in their character to do that. It's bad role playing. If you tell the pixies, hey, help us out to the best of your ability, the pixies are gonna help you out to the best of their ability. They might polymorph things into clams or toads to make things easier for you, but they're probably not gonna do T-Rexes, dude. So I think I would say, look, I'll do the role playing here or something. So I don't know, I would probably do something like that. Fortunately, I haven't really had to deal with summons a whole lot. Many of my players don't use summons, and when they do, it's usually necromancers getting like zombies or skeletons or something like that, and then we have a rule of just one of them. But now I have one of my players in my games, he's using the summon from Tasha's instead of what he was doing before, and it's so much better that way. It's so much better. Yeah, summon undead. Yeah. Good. All right. Got that. Mommy. Lucky 10 Luke says, "Hi Luke. Hi Luke. I watched you for some time now. Super useful stuff for me as a new DM. Keep it up. Thank you. I'm happy to help. So I just thought asking a little stream question. Do you have any other hobbies or favorite activities outside of content creation and D&D? Yeah. So one of the things I really like is shooting firearms. I have lots of fun. I'm getting a little gun collection going, and my wife and I go to the range almost every single week. I'll show you my picture from the range today. We actually went shooting today. I'll show you the picture from it. It should have gone to my Google Photos by now. Let me see. Oh, it didn't update. It hasn't sent it there. Well, you know what? I told you I was going to send you a picture. I'm going to show you the picture of my target from the range today. Mommy, what are you doing? Google, what is Samson Pay? I don't want Samson Pay. I do not want Samson Pay. All right. I have a new phone. I got to figure out how to use this stupid thing. Compose. I gotta email myself this picture because it hasn't uploaded to Google Photos yet. I'm gonna show you that from the range. Stand by. I don't know why it takes so long. There. I emailed it to myself, so now I can get it from my phone to my computer. All right, give me a hot second. It's only half a. I'll share the story in a second. Let's download that. Mommy, I need my hand. Mommy cat wants attention, and I'm like trying to tell her that I need to use my hand to click on things, and she doesn't seem to care. She does not seem to care. Okay, here we go. All right, this is my grouping from today. So I had two targets. So one of the targets, I was aiming very carefully and squeezing very slowly and deliberately, and my groupings were really tight. This target right here, I was shooting much faster. I was practicing faster shots, so the groupings aren't quite as good. You'll notice, obviously you're gonna notice here, I'm straying down to the left here, you know. It's just because I'm pulling the trigger faster, and so my groupings aren't quite as tight. 7 of these shots, 7 of them were no aim shots. I literally just, I have the pistol down here. I bring it up to ready, and I literally am not aiming at all. I'm simply pointing and shooting. There were 7 shots, like within, I don't know, 4 seconds. It was just like as fast as I could pull it. So those shots, those 7 were probably the ones that came way down here, because you're just rattling them off a lot faster, you know. And these were at, so I would say probably I was shooting this I would say a quarter of these were at 25 yards, a quarter of them were at about 15, another quarter were at 10 yards, another quarter of them were at 7 yards. I always practice out at 25, which is as far as the range goes. And then like this one I was shooting like, I think it was 15 that goes into my mag. So I was doing like I think I was doing like 3 shots at 25, then I'd bring it in, then I'd do 3, and then I'd bring it in, do a 3, and I did that for a couple mags. So anyway, about a quarter of these are at 25 yards. Those might be some of these that strayed lower. And for people who understand this, I have a double action, single action, and I always decock it for the first shot. And so when it's decocked and you're using double action, it's a longer pull, and you have especially when you're doing it fast, I've found you have a tendency to dip the gun a little bit as you're pulling on that longer pull because you have a really long pull on the double action. And then once you get to the single action, it's just a very tiny one. And so you tend to get less movement is what I've found. I don't know if that's it's probably because I'm not like as good as I need to be at it, but I found that to be the case too. So some of these were like, the double action, I'm sure was causing it to drift a little bit lower, So anyway, there you go. There you go. That is one of my hobbies. That is one of the things I do that I enjoy doing. I usually take a picture of all my targets. Like I'll get done shooting and I'll take a picture of it. And so I have my phone. My phone is full of my targets. I don't know. I think it's the whole idea of squeeze don't pull. It's like the important thing is that you're not moving the firearm when you're squeezing the trigger. That's the important thing. Because what my wife does this a lot too. She anticipates the recoil, and so I'll watch her dip the gun a little bit right before she pulls the trigger because she doesn't realize that she's out. And so the slide is locked back. There's nothing in the gun, but she hasn't realized it. And so she still pulls the trigger. So it's empty. So there's no recoil. And I'll notice her dip it a little bit, dip it a little bit, dip it a little bit. And then it's funny because I'll see the slide lock back and I'll be like, oh, she's out. But she's still aiming. And I'm like, she doesn't realize that she's out. And then at that point, I'm just like, okay, let's see if she dips it or not. And she does. She's got this thing, and there it goes. There it goes. And then she's like, oh, I'm out. It's funny every time. It's weird because when that slide locks back, there's a feeling to the gun. You just feel it. That's not so much the weight. It's just the gun feels different. You can feel it different in your hand or something. So I don't know. Okay, anyway, I don't allow guns in my D&D games, by the way. I do not allow firearms. Coffee alert. I am out of coffee. We need to do a cat trip too. We need to do a cat trip. Here we go. Cat crack time. It is cat crack time, ladies and gentlemen. I have to find their toys. I don't know where their toys are. Squeaky, where are your toys? I found one of them. I found the happy carrot. All right. I found the happy carrot, and I have no idea what this other thing is. It used to be something. Decapitated dead toy is what that is. Yeah, my cats would have more money on Patreon. We should start doing a cat Patreon. All right. See, we just stuffed him. It's like stuffing a turkey for Thanksgiving. We just stuff him with some cat crack. And we're gonna put it on the happy carrot too. All right, here we go. All right, we are lowering into the drop zone. The happy carrot into the drop zone. All right. There, get these guys all hopped up. Hey, I gave you 2 toys so you don't fight. I literally gave them 2 toys, and they want to go after the happy carrot. Mommy, go to the other one. Mommy. She's a moron. Come on, mommy. Mommy. Where did she go? Where did she go? Mommy. She's under my feet. Oh my gosh. Mommy. Go get the other one.
¿Cómo estás, mami? Te quería preguntar ¿cómo remix si estás pa' mí? ¿O estás para los demás? Mi amor, no pares, de ti siempre quiero más. La luna te la bajaré con estrellas en el mar. Tú eres la chica que mueve el movimiento. Eso significa que tu cuerpo también. Me han contado que a ti te gusta lento. O sea, el proceso, me imagino lo otro también. Cuando te va a ver, hace mucho fue que me disfruto. Quieres más que yo. La vida está para amor, tanto miel de esa flor. Quiero más de ti, amor. Mi amor, no pares, de ti siempre quiero más. Tú eres más que ese
Mommy, do it. Mommy.
Mommy cat. Well, she wants catnip. And Squeaky won't share. Look at her. She's following me. She wants catnip. Yes. There's no place for guns in a high fantasy magic game. Thank you. Do not have firearms in my D&D games. No, thank you. That is not happening. Nothing. Because the moment you introduce gunpowder, players start to be like, oh, I'm gonna start making grenades. Oh, we're gonna start making cannons. Oh, they immediately start using their 21st century knowledge of things, and they start engineering all of these inventions that took long periods of time to come up with. And not only that, but took lots of time for blacksmiths and weaponsmiths to figure out how to craft them on their forges so that they would work properly, and took advances in metallurgy and all that kind of stuff to get steel just right so it would actually work. Like, there were so many things baked into that. But like, the moment you say gunpowder, players are like, oh, we're gonna fill a little grenade up with shrapnel and we have grenades now. No, it doesn't work that way. So yeah. So that's why no. That's one of the reasons why no. The other reason is just I want to play a medieval swords and sorcery game. I don't want to play a gunpowder game. So yes, that's why. Two reasons. One, because players. That's why we can't have good things. That's one reason, you know. And the other reason is I just don't want firearms in my games. Period. Yeah, exactly. I had a character. So Scala Grimmer says I had a character try to make a bamboo mortar like the one from Star Trek. Exactly. That's exactly what they do. They and it's like they don't understand. It's like, you guys, it doesn't work that way. It's anachronistic. You're taking your knowledge from the 21st century and you're applying it back then, and it doesn't. No. Gunpowder was first used, but like rifles and grenades and stuff weren't perfected for a long time after that. And it took hundreds and hundreds of years for that to happen. And yet players think that they can just do it like that. And then use a downtime. And then in a downtime, create like some sort of advanced weaponry. That's what they want to do. That's what they want to do. And you're like, no. So it's easier just not to go there, because then you're gonna have to spend time discussing and arguing and convincing and be like, you guys, it doesn't work that way. And no. And it's not, I don't think it's that they don't understand that it doesn't work that way. They just want to see if they can get away with it. They want to see if they can get you to cave and allow it. Did the Deva in Peak D&D game have legendary actions you forgot? It did not. It did not have legendary actions. It should have. It was too easy. That entire last combat was way too easy. I did not have enough DPS on you guys. I needed to have more DPS. The Deva didn't have enough DPS. I don't know if you guys realized it, but there was a certain point in the battle where I realized that I did not have enough damage output, and there was zero threat to you guys. Like, I think it was in the second round or so, maybe the third round, I realized that even with my priests doing their holy blender thing and the Deva doing his attacks and stuff, I was like, I don't have enough DPS to actually threaten this group. I don't. And so he didn't have enough DPS. I could have changed something mid combat to give him more DPS or something. I actually had a trick up my sleeve to make things a little bit different, but again, we were running short on time, and so, you know, and you're under pressure because you're over your game slot, and so you're just trying to wrap things up, you know, and so that time crunch kind of, you know, makes some of your plans, you know, they just kind of like, yeah, you get me. I don't have the words right now. Well, here's the thing, Carrot Hammer. We're dealing with two different perspectives. Your perspective as a player and my perspective as a dungeon master. Because there are so many unknowns to you as a player, and you don't know what the monsters can do and what tricks they have up their sleeves and how many hit points they have and stuff like that. Like, from your perspective, it might have seemed like, oh my gosh, you know, we could just get wiped. But because I know everything, I know what they can do and what their capabilities are, it's easier for me to realize, oh, there's no threat. There's not a real threat. It's an imagined threat, you know, but I can't actually defeat them. I don't have enough DPS to actually threaten them. I think somebody dropped once or twice and then they got healed back up again, you know, because it's 5th edition. Because it's 5th freaking edition. Healing, just revivify. Didn't somebody drop in that last combat? I'm pretty sure somebody dropped and got revivified or something. Something happened. I'm pretty sure. Oh no. I don't think it was revivify. They just dropped to 0 and then they got healing worded or something. Yeah, that's probably what happened. Because it's 5th edition, so it's like, you in order to actually threaten defeat and character death in 5th edition, you have to really lay it on thick. You have to really have some DPS. You have to really, like, the boss needs to be able to drop a character to 0 hit points in 1 round. If a boss can't almost kill a character in 1 round, 5th edition, there's no threat. There's no threat at all. Because if I can't drop a character almost every single round, you guys are gonna be drinking healing potions. And even if I do drop a character after 2 or 3 rounds, guess what? He gets healing worded and comes back up again, and then gets healed and keeps on going. Even if I drop him again, healing worded, and he keeps on going again. So it's like, in order for me to actually threaten a TPK, to threaten a party with death, I have to have enough DPS output that I'm dropping a character every round. And then, this is just based on my experience, and then I know that there's an actual threat of death and possible loss. But if I don't have the DPS to drop a character every round, there is no threat in 5th edition. 0 threat at all. And that's not, it's just, it is what it is. It's just my knowing how the game works and knowing what players do and how healing works and how hard it is to kill people, you know? And that final boss fight just didn't have enough DPS to make it, to make there be a threat of loss. From my perspective, the way, because I was seeing all that stuff. Now, the player perspective is always different than the Dungeon Master's perspective, but I knew that there was no threat. The boss had no teeth. But it's, you know, your perspective is different. Oh, the true Pengu? Oh yes, that Pengu monster was nuts. Do you use milestone leveling? Yes. Or go by XP count? No. I haven't used XP for 3 or 4 years. If counting XP other than killing monsters, do you give XP for other things? When I did use XP, yes, I gave XP for different things. I gave XP for good role playing. Not talking in character. Good role playing. There's a big difference. All right, so I gave that for good role playing. I gave them, I don't know, for other things. I don't know, it's been a while, but I would give XP for different things than just combat. The idea was to encourage and reward other things besides just killing stuff or overcoming the encounter. Have you ever used one of your own previous player characters? I am rarely a player by preference, and I don't like being a player. So no, as a big bad, no, because I just don't play a whole lot. I mean, yeah, no. Do you just do 5e for D&D? Yes. I've played 2nd edition, which I enjoyed because it's the only thing, that was the first thing I ever played, so hey, I had fun. I played 3.5, which I liked. I still like 3.5. I still like those crunchy rules. I still do. I still like character building and all that kind of stuff in 3.5. I don't remember a lot of the details of being a dungeon master in 3.5 because it's been a long time. But I can tell you that I like the 3.5 system. And then of course I've done 5th edition. I never did 4th edition. I've played as a player in some like 1st edition and AD&D games. I enjoyed those. I enjoyed those in like an old school, like, nostalgia sort of thing. I don't know that I would enjoy an ongoing campaign using 1st edition or AD&D rule sets. I don't know about that, but playing a one shot using those rule sets, I thought was very, very fun. I was like, okay, I have this. Wow, okay. It was just, I don't know, it was just a cool experience. Do you have any examples of your session prep notes? Bonus if it's the first session. Sure. I'll show you my session prep notes from my very first session of my Waterdeep Dragon Heist game. Give me a hot second. Dragon Heist. All right. I don't know. It's been a long time since I looked at these, so I don't know what we're going to find in here. So the very first session. Where was it? It was probably... Here we go. Yep, here we go. This is the very first... These are my notes for the very first game session. Now, these aren't the adventure that they went on. Those aren't game prep notes for me. Game prep notes... I'm going to show you my game prep notes, but this doesn't include preparing the adventure for them. That's a whole different type of prep. Okay, this right here is high level planning. This is the stuff I plan to maybe touch on or talk about at the game session. This is high level planning. Adventure prep is actually preparing the adventure, and that's a whole different beast. I do them together. I do this high level planning, and then I do the adventure prep together, usually at the same time, but they're two different things. So I will show you this. I don't even know where my like adventure planning notes might be. I probably printed off a copy from Dragon Heist and then marked it up with highlighter and stuff, which is usually how I prepare a module. Okay, so this was our session 0. This was our session 0. So I talked about the game style that we were going to be running. This was a group that I already had played with a lot, so they kind of knew me. They did know me. Then the plan was to create PCs together. Every single player, except for one, had already created their characters. Even though I told them, that we would create them together at the game table. 4 of them already had their characters done. 1 of them didn't, actually followed instructions. And then guess what? I made everybody sit there and wait for that person to, and I did not put pressure on that person because they actually followed the instructions. And so everybody else was just kind of like chilling. I think some people were still choosing spells and stuff like that. But anyway, backstories. I literally passed out to them the piece of paper with like about 10 different questions that I use, available on DriveThruRPG. I think it's free, for backstory creation. So I gave them my backstory creation template that helps create backstories. We went through that. I gave them a handout for Yawning Portal because there were some PCs in there, NPCs, and I told each PC that they could select one of the NPCs as a friendly acquaintance, so they had like some sort of connection in the game world that they could play with. I gave them a code legal, explains the laws and stuff of Waterdeep. Don't break them. I gave them a map of Waterdeep, so they had an overview of different things. I gave them an overview of the wards and city leadership. I explained luck points. I have a video on luck points. We do not use luck points anymore. We have found them to be broken and too powerful, like mini homebrewed things. Imagine that. And then lingering injuries. I explained to them my lingering injuries system, which has gone through several revamps over the years, and now I think we're getting close to settling on something I actually like. And then these were different plot points that I was planning on doing during the game. And then here's some notes about little things, points of interest or things that were going to happen. There were more details on these things than the actual adventure itself that I prepped, which I don't have handy. So that's pretty much it. And then I got some stuff down here. Oh, I always do session in notes. So like, these are the session start notes, and then I have session in notes. So it just tells me what time it was, where they left off, what they were doing, and that sort of thing. And then if you go to the next game session, I put those session start notes from the previous game session right there, and then I make more session in notes. This lets me just remember where things left off, because we're not going to play for 2 weeks, and I'm going to forget what was going on. And so I need these notes. I need these notes to remember that sort of thing. So here you go. That's some basic high-level planning for a game. Not all of that stuff's going to get hit. Sometimes they're going to go off and do things I didn't expect. You know what I mean? But that's a framework of what I'm thinking will happen, when I'm planning certain plot points I might do, or certain NPCs they might meet and stuff like that. Obviously, there's always a possibility they're going to do something different. But when I present plot hooks, my players usually bite the plot hooks. They know how the game works. I present nice, tantalizing plot hooks with motivating factors. They usually bite them. And then if they bite the plot hook, I have a general idea of where they're going to go, who they're going to talk with, or the dungeon they're going to go in. And so I can prepare those things. You know, I'm pretty good about anticipating that sort of thing. And when I don't know, I ask my players, what are you going to do next? So I can go prepare that thing. All right, let's get rid of that. I did that. Would you rather adopt a single cat-sized squirrel or 100 squirrel-sized cats? A single cat-sized squirrel. Absolutely. Are you kidding me? If I had a cat-sized squirrel, I could probably let him run loose with my cats and he'd be able to defend himself. I've had gatekeepers who told me I shouldn't play D&D because I'm a girl. Punch them in the face. Elbow them. Actually, don't punch them. Your bones in your hand are very fragile. You can break your hands or break your wrist too very easily by punching someone in the face. I recommend an elbow. Just do like a simple like elbow just like that. You get in close, grab behind the head, and just do an elbow. Just take it to town, man. You have my permission. Tell him Luke told you to do it. Grab behind the head, elbow, wrap around the head again, and go for the knee. Pull back on the base of their neck and go for the knee to the groin. And then be like, oh, I'm sorry. As they're lying on the ground, like bloody nose and grasping at themselves, you'd be like, I'm sorry. Could you say that again? Did you say that I shouldn't play D&D because I'm a girl? Freaking morons. That's how that's Luke problem solving right there. Nice throat punch. Okay, so the trick for a throat punch is you want to do it like that. Don't actually aim for the throat. The throat's a very small target. If you punch forward like this and just hit them in the chest, right there, hard, your hand is gonna glance up and go right into the throat. And you want to drive through the target. You're not actually trying to like snap strike. You want to push your hand into their chest hard, go through their body. And what's going to happen is your hand is going to hit here and go right up into their throat, and you're going to keep on pushing back. And they might just fall flat on their backs. And when they do so, they're probably going to bounce their head off something. So that would be an effective way to do it too. But that's probably more dangerous. Way more dangerous and more lethal. So you probably don't want to do that for gatekeeping. That's something you do like when you're defending your life. Gatekeepers, well, let's just elbow them to the face. Let's call it a day. Let's be generous, right? Yeah. What has this turned into? This has turned into Luke. I have like, actually, I'm gonna show you this. Hold on a second. Get this to come off my wall. It's hanging on my wall behind me. Look at this. Look at this fancy certificate I have here. Oh, wow. Isn't that fancy? Oh dear. Yeah. That does you a lot of good. I gotta hang it back up now. Oh. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to hit that little hook. Oh my gosh. I actually got it on there. Huh. Hopefully that doesn't fall off. Flawless victory. Defeated by a nail. I know. I can't get it up there. I can't hang it up there. All right. Okay, here's a question. I would like some feedback on this situation I came across at my table. I planned a dungeon, empty dwarven city. There was nothing in it. You walk into the dungeon, and there's nothing there. Wait. Nothing? Nothing. Traps? Nothing. Monsters? Nothing. Treasure? Nothing. Why are we here? I don't know. I'm gonna keep reading your question now. And put a monster in. Oh, so there was something in there. Now we're getting interesting. Buffed Grell, and I made a horror-like adventure out of this. The player had to stay together and watch their backs while exploring a huge dungeon. I planned on them exploring a bit and find some loot, grab as much as they can carry, and run before the Grell kills all of them one by one. But now they killed it. Very lucky rolls. And can loot the whole dwarven city. Is the money of a whole dwarven city too much for a level 3 group? Probably. Why can't there be more there than one Grell? It doesn't matter if you planned for there to only be one Grell. It doesn't matter if they've killed it now and technically there's nothing left in that city. Like, there can always be more in that city. Maybe that Grell's existence was holding at bay a whole bunch of different monsters for some reason or another that weren't there. And once that Grell goes down, a deluge of monsters and other beings enter that dwarven city. Like, there's nothing to say you can't just start populating it with stuff on the fly. You can totally do that. You could totally have half of that treasure be worthless for some reason or another. I'll give them some cool stuff, but some of it for some reason is just fool's gold or something, or it's stamped with certain insignia that make it like harder to get people to actually accept it or something. I don't know. I would put more monsters and stuff in there, dude. The other thing too, I think a big lesson to be learned from this though, a big lesson to be learned: never put stuff in the dungeon that you wouldn't want your players to get their hands on. Don't do it. Don't do it. You have to make the assumption. When you're designing a dungeon, an adventure, or whatever, you should always make the assumption that no matter what you think may or may not happen, always assume that one way or another, your players might get their hands on everything in there. All of the gold, all of the magic items, everything. No matter what you think is going to happen, no matter what your plans are, assume that if you put it there, they will own it. So if you give a big bad guy some sort of cool magical armor and sword, really cool magic stuff, and you're like, well, it's okay because the villain is going to escape. Ha, I have an escape plan. What if he doesn't escape? Be prepared for your players to have that armor and have that sword. You must prepare and plan for that eventuality. I never put anything in a dungeon that I'm not okay with my players appropriating for themselves. So I think that's the first thing to think. I mean, I told you something else too. You can always adjust and add stuff. But also going forward, I would recommend not putting anything in there unless you're okay with your players getting their greedy little hands on it, because players have a way of figuring problems out and overcoming things and finding their own solutions. Because we have one dungeon master brain versus like 5 player brains. The players are going to figure it out. You can trust in that. So there's some solutions or some ideas. I'm having a brand new player join the group next session, and he seemed very excited about it, but he has yet to create a character and is starting to make me anxious. Should I just wait until the session to see what he's come up with, or should I try to push him to get it done earlier so I can prepare for the session better? I don't think that what character he creates really should impact session preparation at all. Like, you're probably not creating backstory specific adventures at that point because it's a brand new character. He's just joining. So I don't know that, like, I don't customize my adventures and dungeons and stuff based upon my character's classes. Like, I don't care what their classes are. If you have a rogue or you don't have a rogue, there's going to be traps in that dungeon. If you have a healer or you don't have a healer, somebody's going to get this horrible poison potentially, and you guys are going to have to figure things out. So I don't prepare my adventures based upon character classes or races or anything like that. My adventures are agnostic to all of that. The adventure is what the adventure is. The world is what the world is. This is the challenge. This is the obstacle. You guys figure it out. Maybe you don't have the right tools. Maybe you need a trapper and you don't have one. Oh, I don't care. I'm not going to take traps out of the game because you don't have a rogue or something. That's not my problem. The world is what the world is. So I don't know that what they bring should impact your planning, honestly, but you might do things a little differently, and that's fair. What I personally would do, honestly, what I would do is I would have a backup character ready for them. Here's the thing. You say brand new player. Creating a character in D&D is quite possibly the most challenging thing there is to do as a player, as a new player. Like, a new player, be like, yeah, go create your own character. If they've never played before, they could be lost, crazy lost, and have no idea where to go from there. I have routinely, when I have a new player in the game, I will set up a special time with them. We will go to a game shop together and we will create their character together. And I will walk them through the process, because creating a character for a new player can be very, very challenging. Of course, if you have D&D Beyond, your life gets a lot easier. That's a great tool. But if you don't, then creating it by scratch using a character sheet and knowing all the rules, that's very complicated. You could have a player who's just getting lost in that sort of stuff. I would definitely create a backup though. So if they walk into the game session and they're just like, dude, I don't know what was going on, man. I couldn't do it. You'd be like, that's okay, dude. Here, I created a fighter champion for you. One of the easiest classes to play in the game. There you go. Play that for a little bit. You don't like it, we'll figure something out. So I would have a backup, and then you're good to go. I wouldn't pressure them a whole lot, honestly. Just see what happens and have a backup, and then if they don't have anything, give them something and then roll with it. What are you guys doing with puns and stuff? Somebody's doing puns and crap in chat. Do you think the official magic item prices are balanced? No, they're too cheap. If you look at what's in Xanathars and the prices they say for magic items, it's ridiculously cheap. It's so stupid. How do you deal with monks that stun the big bad? Most of my big bads are immune to stun. Or they have advantage on stun. Or they have legendary resistances. You know, legendary resistances almost aren't enough because monks can stun so many times in rapid succession that legendary resistances almost don't cut it. I'm honest. Most of my big bads are immune to stun. Period. End of story. Here's why. It ruins the game. It totally ruins the combat. When you get a creature that is stun locked, the entire combat is done. It's done. Especially if it's like one solitary big monster. When you get stun locked, it's all over. Everybody has advantage on their attacks. They surround and pound, and he's dead in a round or two. And your big climactic battle that you were building up to, that the players were excited about, they're anxious about, they're like, oh my gosh, this big, huge, oh my, it's this, oh my gosh. And then he starts getting stun locked. It's a huge letdown. It's, in my opinion, first of all, it ruins my fun as a dungeon master because I no longer get to play that monster. I don't get to play the monster. I don't get to play the game anymore. Somebody just used one attack and it's over. The whole combat is over. I didn't get to play my monster, so it ruins the game for me. And it does ruin the game a bit for the players too, because some of the players want that combat. They were looking forward to that combat. You know, they wanted to use their abilities and things like that. And then all of a sudden the monster's just standing there doing nothing and everybody just beats on it and it's dead. And all of that build up, all of that suspense is like, wow, that was anticlimactic. I've had it happen before in games where there was a build up to a monster, a boss, and then this happened with a paladin. He used smite 2 times in the same round and one of them was a crit. And he took the boss from like almost full hit points to nothing and was dead in 1 round. And the very same paladin that did that said, wow, that was a letdown. And I'm like, you're the one that did it. But he wanted more. He wanted that threat. He wanted that combat. And then when it was over fast, he was like, well, that was kind of a letdown. That was, you know, anticlimactic and unsatisfying. So most of my bosses have resistance to, or they have advantage on saves versus stuns, or they have immunity stuns. Straight up, end of story. Because it degrades the quality of the game on various levels. So I homebrew many of my monsters to be immune to stun. That's the answer. It's for the overall benefit of the game. That's how I justify it. And if you don't like that, you can just leave angry comments down below. Thank you very much. I can't get my thing to work. Oh, interesting. Interesting. All right. Got that one. How much fun are you having playing back in person with the Curse of Strahd group? I missed the live stream, but happy you guys are back face to face. We've only played in person once so far. There was another time where one of our players couldn't host and we just played online again. We've only played in person once. It was fun. I will tell you something I do not miss about playing in person. Side conversations. Side conversations were driving me crazy at our Curse of Strahd game. there were two players in particular that were just having a side conversation for a lot of the game, and it was driving me nuts. And usually I'm pretty quick to crack down on side conversations. I was giving them a lot of leeway because it was our first time back in person, and we were all really excited and talking and stuff. And I think they were talking about this one guy's had a character, and there were some different character options and stuff. I don't know. They were excited and talking about something. So I was giving people a lot more leeway with the side conversations than I normally would because it was our first time back in person. But it definitely underscored something very big for me. When you're playing remotely over Zoom, there are no side conversations. Because if two people are talking, nobody understands anyone. But in person, side conversations are viable, and they distract from the game. They take away from the game, and they distract me. Like, it's hard for me to run a game when two players are having a side conversation. It's really hard for me to concentrate on what's going on over here because these guys are talking, you know? And so I was being lenient, but I did not like it. And I mean, obviously I'm not going to allow it forever. You know, at some point they're going to have to stop, and I will give them the look of death, and I will ask them to like hold off their side conversation or something. You know what I mean? So that is something I do not miss, the side conversations. That's an advantage to playing online for sure. But it was lots of fun. I loved not having to screw with Roll20. Oh my word! Did I not love not having to screw with that stupid platform? Stupid horse crap Roll20. I didn't have to do any of that. I didn't have to make a stupid map in advance or goof around with that stuff. The technology did not get in the way of our gameplay. Here's the grid. Here's my dry erase marker. Boop, 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 draw a map. All right, throw some miniatures down. Let's play the game. It was beautiful. I loved it. That was amazing. That was amazing. Roll20 can burn rot. That was one thing I did not miss one bit. Oh my gosh. Woo! Are you gonna keep George or send him to an animal rescue to eventually release to the wild? We're getting attached to him. He's adorable and he loves us. George, he'll like nibble on my fingers, and he's playing and he's attacking my hand, and I'm rubbing his belly and he's attacking me. Oh, dude. We couldn't let George go. He's so adorable. And you probably gotta pay those animal release folk. It's like, oh my gosh, really? If Wizards of the Coast came to you begging for you to create the next edition of D&D, trust me, they wouldn't. What would you borrow from other games or systems? Oh geez, I don't know. I don't play anything else. I would have no idea what to borrow from other games or systems. I can tell you what I would like them to do. Put the alignment of monsters in the stat blocks, you friggin' morons. That's what I would tell them to do, which is why they won't have me. They're gonna make so many changes to 5.5 that I will not like. I just can feel it coming. I have it in my gut. Like, based upon their current direction and the changes and things that they're doing, I can just feel it churning in my gut that they're going to make certain changes to the game system that I will not like. They're gonna have an entire monster manual with no alignment on the monsters. Well, we don't want to categorize certain creatures as an evil. We don't want to categorize certain creatures a certain way. That would just be unconscionable. That would just be horrible and insensitive. Oh my gosh. Freaking shoot me now. But at the same time, they won't put the alignment in the stat block, but over here in the text about the lore, they'll say that the creatures are evil. Literally. I found this in freaking, what was it? Was it Tasha's? What game book was it where they had some monsters and stuff? It wasn't Tasha's. It was one of them. It was one of the recent ones that they came out with. Literally. It might have been one of their adventures and there were monsters in the back. Literally, here's the monster stat block. There's no alignment in the stat block at all. So I don't know how to roleplay this character. I don't know how to roleplay this monster quite yet. You know, like, it doesn't tell me, but I read the lore and it literally says these are evil creatures. It's an evil species, blah, 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 blah. These are the things it does. And I'm just like, So instead of putting that information in a stat block where it's easy for me to reference, you bury it in this text over here. I'm just like, it flabbergasts me. You know, you're making the game more difficult for me to run. You're catering to the vocal minority on social media who are whining and crying about things. By the way, they won't stop. They will whine and cry forever. So you're catering to them, and you're making the game more difficult for me to run. Like, I don't like that. Just put the stupid alignment in their stat block and make it easier for me, dude. They're a fantasy creature. A fantasy creature. You're worried about categorizing a fantasy creature as evil. Really? Good gravy. These are the things I freak out about. It's not evil, it's just misguided. I know. Good gravy. Just let us play our game. It's a game in a fantasy world. Let us play our game. Please leave your politics elsewhere. I just want to play the game. That's what I want them to do. And they won't. They won't. Okay, anyway, let's keep going. Shall we? Any tips for getting one of your players to run a game? Ask them. Guys, I'm burnt out. We have a couple different options here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm taking a break. While I take a break, we can do nothing. Or one of you could run a one-shot for us. I'll buy you pizza. All right, let's go back down here. Can you tell us about any new Kickstarters you have in the works without giving any details? Wizards of the Coast style. I have a very super secret Kickstarter coming out in January. It's the next evolution of the DM layer. And now I'm relying upon YouTube content creators to speculate and make a bunch of videos about it, giving me free marketing and free advertising and getting people hyped up about it. There you go. That's our marketing tactic. Get other people to do the work for you, and it's working. Let's make a vague announcement because we know people are going to start chattering, and we know people are going to start making videos and writing blog posts, and we're going to get the hype up, and people are going to be like, It's like, they're going to do the work for us. Let's do little effort, be super vague, and all these people are going to do the marketing work for us and get the hype for us. Oh, nailed it. This is the way to do it, man. I'm telling you nothing. You figure it out. And it works. It works. The way to do it is to bury it in videos. You know, instead of having a simple announcement in written text that somebody can read very quickly, you want to bury all the information in like 40-minute long videos. And little nuggets are dispersed throughout the video that people have to like find here and there. Like I'm having a hard, I gotta listen to these two guys talking for 40 minutes to figure out what's going on around here. And then they mentioned 3 different things like at different points in the video, and they pontificated at length about them. It didn't really say a whole lot. There was a lot of talky, but not a lot of information. But I listened to a 40-minute video and got 3 pieces of information. Woo! That's the way to disperse information, folks. The Kickstarter I'm doing in January is going to be for so we're going to take Layer Magazine. We've been doing Layer Magazine since January 2021. We're going to take all 12 issues and we're going to make them available as a printed copy. So printed hardcover, right? And we're going to commission artwork for it. So we're going to have nice, cool commissioned artwork for it. We're going to put all of the adventures and the monsters into one volume. It's going to be about 300 plus pages. It's going to be a really big boy because there's a lot of content in Layer Magazine. And then we're going to take all the other things, the traps, the puzzles, the NPCs, the villains, the encounters, all of those different things are going to go into a second book. And that's going to be probably around, no, the first book's going to be like 400 pages or so. I was calculating the length. It's a lot. It's like 500,000 words. I was literally hiring an editor to edit the stuff again. We've already edited it multiple times. I'm hiring somebody else to edit it again to make it even better. And she was like, Luke, can you give me a word count estimate? And I was like, okay. And so I took like an issue of Layer magazine and I figured out how many words were in it. And then I multiplied it by 12 and it was 500,000 words, which is a lot. And so I told her and she's like, okay, that's going to be expensive to edit. Here you go. And I was like, yay. So we're going to do that. That's what we're going to do. And there'll be stretch goals to get more artwork and to add more content to the magazine as well. And here's the thing too. We had about, I want to say there were several adventures, 6 or 7 adventures that we are not able to publish as they were presented in Layer magazine due to difficulties getting permission from certain contributors to use their content. And so we had to rewrite some of the adventures as well. So you're going to have several of the adventures that are going to be different in different ways, so that we could actually publish them, because certain people wanted a huge, massive cut on the back end to use their content. Like there was one of the parties that we worked with that had like, they contributed about, I don't know, 1% of the content, and they wanted a 30% back end or something. And I was like, and then I was trying to figure out, well, if I had to rewrite everything, how much would I have to pay freelancers to rewrite all of that content and to recommission other certain things? And it was, the answer was about $2,000. I was like, okay, I can pay $2,000 to rewrite all of that content and make it so I could actually use it. Or I could give this guy 30% of the back end. That was an easy decision. Easy decision. It is so much work to run a Kickstarter. Oh my gosh. Have someone ask for 30% of the back end. So yeah, there's gonna be a whole bunch of new content too. So anyway, that's the Kickstarter we have planned for January. Ladies and gentlemen, there you go. Te estás quedando sin café, yo sé. Pero me queda un poquito, ¿ves? Un poquitito.
Sí, yo hablo español muy bien. Tengo 7 gatos.
Oh, dude, it's past 9 o'clock. It's past 9 o'clock. We gotta end. There will be errata factors into the. Oh yes, we have to do errata. So.
Yo lo hablo muy bien porque mi esposa es de Honduras.
My wife's from Central America. That's why I speak Spanish. I speak with her in Spanish all the time. That's like our first language. Es muy raro escucharme hablar español porque casi nunca hablo en español aquí. Por eso es muy raro. Anyway, where are we going? What was I saying? Oh yes, the errata for Layer magazine. That's because like before Ed started working for us as our lead developer, it was me reviewing stuff and publishing stuff, and there was stuff that went through that should not have gone through. So Ed is doing me the kind service of fixing stuff for me. Let's just put it that way. Bye, Nixit. Okay, we're ending this. I gotta go to bed, guys. Everybody keeps on distracting me. Okay, we're going to bed, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, goodbye. Have a nice night. Preventing lawsuits are good. Yes. Okay, I'm leaving now. Oh wait, no wait, we have to raid somebody. Okay, hold on a second. I forgot to raid. See, this is what happens when I don't stream for forever. I forgot that there are certain conventions around here, such as raiding people. So we're gonna find somebody to raid. Let's go over here. Who are we gonna raid tonight, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, these guys are playing in person. Look at this. Nice. I like that. Let's raid these guys. All right. Let's raid these people. Stories TOD4. All right. I'm gonna set up a raid for those guys. Stories TOD4. Raid. Stories TOD4. They are live. Okay, here we go. We're raiding people. Bye. Oh, by the way, I have the second proof for Into the Fae, and it's good to go. See, book. I'm about to order the full print run of 1,500 of these things. I'm about to make that order. I just had to confirm a detail with my 3PL, and then we're making that order. So anyway, go get the raid. Let's go. Raid time. Raid.